Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Angel for the Real House of New Jersey after show. And tonight we're talking season 10, episode 7, The Last Supper. Tonight we're going to find out if there's a future between Danielle, Marty, and Oliver. We're also talking about Easter without Joe and sprinkle cookies. The after show starts now.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz.
How y'all doing tonight?
I'm good.
I think tonight is going to be so much fun because we have an extra person with us tonight who was also with us last season, but we also have a surprise under the table, courtesy of Russell. We're getting lit tonight.
Yes.
But first, let's go ahead and introduce everybody. We've got on the end, we've got Ronnie, who was with us last season.
Hello.
He's been on the East Coast, but he's visiting LA right now. So
back home.
glad to have Ronnie with us. We've also got Russell Ray Silva in the building, who was also last season. And we've got our Jersey girl, Bree.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Back in studio, and I'm your host, Angel. And let's just get right on into it, just recapping the episode. And Ronnie, you're our guest tonight. Let's go ahead and start with you.
Okay, well, first of all, you know, they always do the previews and you get a glimpse of what's going to happen next episode. I will say this particular episode really knocked me off on my butt a little bit because from the previews, I didn't get that we were going to go to this emotional place, you know, with the Easter situation, which I know we'll talk about later. So I thought I'd be coming in here with you guys. We would be cackling and it'd be like one of those chill episodes. You know, the girls just got back from Jamaica.
Yeah.
But I was wrong. The emotions hit. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Russell?
Oh my gosh. To watch to watch Joe Gorga break down the way that he did really just has I'm so in love with him and Melissa anyways, but this just brought me to a whole nother level and I almost busted out in tears for this.
I think
episode.
Bree was in tears.
Relax.
Because she literally was not facing us at all. Like the whole time, her like head's like this. I'm like, Bree, you all right? She didn't answer me. I'm like, okay.
No, I was. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I did well up in my eyes. It was a moment. It was a moment. I'm a softie when it comes on to Joe and the kids.
No, seriously. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I still cry on the Lion King with the like whole Mufasa dying and stuff. So I just, like Ronnie said, I wasn't ready for this. We're thinking we coming in here, we got the wine, like we're about to just turn up. We are about to pop it open.
I thought it was going to be more of a turn up, and then all of a sudden it's like we're watching This Is Us
like,
episode.
whoa.
You know, it really knocked me, and I was not too man enough to admit I was like tearing up. I think I tapped you like, oh my God, like I'm not feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a very interesting episode. We also got to see a little bit more about Jackie's past. Her dad brought up a topic that I was just like, why did he even bring this up? So let's start with Brianna on it.
Okay, so this is the thing. As outraged as I want to be about his reaction, saying, oh, well, it was almost worth it, I can't help but look at it as he's ignorant, and not in like a disrespectful way, but just in a generational way. Because I think about it and I think about my grandma, and it's just like, if I was to say, oh, grandma, I'm suffering from depression, she would just look at it like, you're just sad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a very old school thing.
Very old school. So for him, hearing eating disorder, he's not really translating it as real as what it really is.
Yeah.
So it's hard for him to sympathize for his daughter, and it's very unfortunate because it's hard to make a connection like that.
Yeah, I think for sure. I don't want to say the newer generation is more sensitive because, I mean, those are real issues that someone's dealing with. Like, you don't know how deep their issues are when they're putting garbage into their food just so that they won't eat it and they're starving themselves. But I would say that back in the day, you know, your grandparents or their parents would be like, you better get it together.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though, she wasn't even that big.
She wasn't.
Right.
No, she was just a nice, curvy, healthy size.
But that also speaks to the disorder aspect
Yeah.
of it all, which is, I think it was a weird conversation. I think someone at the table, we were talking about how it felt like it was, where did that come from? Like, you know, like what prompted the video?
Yeah.
I think that really left me a little shocked. Like, what are we actually talking about? But I think what made her mad is like sometimes you don't necessarily want anyone to judge your side of things. Like, okay, I had a disorder. You don't believe it's a disorder. That's fine. but are you hearing me? And I think the moment he, to the point of your generation thing, to the point of him washing it off, it made her so mad, and then we had like a little bit more of a blow up. So I kind of agree with you too. It's like it wasn't, none of it was really that big of a deal, but when she feels like her own father's not listening to her, we're in for a really bad space, you know.
And I wonder where that issue even started with her, because like as you said, she wasn't that big. And you know, people, especially as a teen, like a young adult, people, you know, hit puberty, they blossom, they grow, they change up a little bit. So I'm wondering, like, did these issues just come with her seeing herself that way, or was her dad like the one saying it? Or maybe it could have been kids at school, but either way,
it left me wanting more. That's for sure. Like, I want to know more about it. And it also, because like I'm one of the few people who like kind of is okay with Jackie. I know a lot of people really don't enjoy her. I
like Jackie.
I think she's pretty cool.
I'm with you.
I think, well, if anything, she's just direct. She's like, oh, Dolores, let's go. Let's at least talk about it. She doesn't care that much, but it's always painted as she's this psycho lady. Anyways, one thing that is interesting about Jackie, and we're hearing with the disagreement, we're hearing the weight issue, but we're also remembering that she didn't talk to her sister for so many years. So Jackie has a certain thing where when she's focused on something, it could overtake her personality. So I just want to know more.
That's
she has an obsessive personality.
That's relatable.
And that's not judging her. It's just saying I'd like to know more. You know.
Yeah. Well, Jackie is not the only one that we got a glimpse into her life. We also saw more of Dolores, and I love to call him Who, but y'all know I'm talking about David.
Why you do him? Why though?
Because he's he's like hardly ever there. We of course see Frank way more, and the episode was focused around Easter Sunday. All the family was over, and here comes Who coming all late. And
don't call him that. He's a good person. He's a doctor and he delivers babies.
I guess, right?
And he probably hugs puppies and those things like that. But Frank needs to stop, first of all.
What I was going to say is, and we saw Dolores buying Frank that shirt that he wore for Easter Sunday. Did you buy Who the shirt?
I know you guys saw me clapping on that one. Dolores should not be buying Frank a shirt. Especially if it has nothing to do, like, I would see maybe if they had a group photo as a family with her kids.
Her two kids,
Their two kids, so that the kids have the memories of their parents. Great. Buy the shirt because you know sometimes your ex-spouse doesn't get things together, might do something spiteful and come in the wrong color. So that is fine. But to present him to your family again? Come on, Dolores. We know better than that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's strange. What you think, Bree?
I think at this point, everybody is so used to Frank and him just being around. I don't even think her family thinks anything weird of it. Just like Dolores doesn't see anything wrong with it. I think the dynamic is so normalized that it would probably be weird if she didn't get him a shirt. Like, what, are you mad at him? I just think it's more troublesome that she's going shopping for stuff for her house with David.
No, with Frank.
Yeah. That's what
you're calling him David because...
No. She's the house she's getting with David.
Oh, yeah.
But she's going shopping with Frank.
And she don't even know if she's going to live there. So.
Exactly. Without a commitment. And all of a sudden, something like that isn't a big deal.
Actually brings me to the next point of... Frank getting her family involved for putting David's foot to the fire on proposing.
Awkward.
It is awkward. Frank doesn't need to do that. David doesn't need to propose if David doesn't want to propose. Because the road works both ways. If there's something that he thinks he's missing versus there's something that she thinks she's missing, then they need to figure that out before any ring gets pulled out. And Frank is only an outsider, and he doesn't exactly know the inside of their relationship. You only know someone when you're behind closed doors with them. And I know she lives behind a door with Frank. But she's not in that relationship, and she doesn't know what partakes in their conversations.
And you also can't force someone into something like that.
Exactly.
It's just like putting them on a spot and it's all awkward. That might make him like fall back more. I would just be like, this too much.
I think Frank is acting like the older sibling after they get the younger sibling, and it's like, but like, you let her get away with so much more because that's the baby, and you checked me all the time when I tried to do that when I was at her age. And you look at the mom, and the mom's just like, well, I've been through it with you, and I'm just gonna be softer on her. Like, it is what it is. Frank is acting like the older sibling.
Beyond Frank acting the way he's acting, it's also just interesting the way David is okay with all that. You know what I mean? Like, because I would be okay with like an awkward situation, like Wendy Williams always says, when you're dating at a certain age, like things are not like what you would do in your 20s. So I'm okay with the mixed match of the ex in the house. But like, let me tell you one thing. the ex better have a girlfriend. Like the ex better like also have his own life. If the ex is like
It's just hanging out all the time.
That's the part. Yeah, because for all we know, David, this could be a great situation for him. Is like, you know, I love Dolores, but I don't have really time to do all the lovey-dovey things. So Frank better have a girlfriend if I'm dating Dolores, is what I'm saying.
Frank and Dolores have stated that they've slept in the same bed non-sexually.
Yes.
I don't believe that line should be crossed. If you are.
That's disrespectful.
I don't like that. Yeah.
But that shows that David is not a real participant in this relationship. He's content because it works for him. That's why he doesn't feel the need to give Dolores a commitment.
Well, that means we are holding all three of them back because all three of them are now in this codependent situation.
Absolutely. But
you know what? And that's a good point.
Yeah.
To have wasted time, because that's one thing that you can't get back.
Exactly.
When someone wastes your time, you look back at it like, what was I doing?
And it's worse for Dolores because she already wasted her years with Frank.
Waiting
her
on
first
him.
And she needs to
marriage.
I think that they need to just resolve their issues and she get back with Frank because he's always there anyway. They have all this history and if it's not like that, then let him go. Not let him go all the way because, they do have a kid together, even though their kid is grown, whatever.
Their kids are cute.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love Frank.
They make good babies.
Both of them.
But
the daughter,
Yeah. she's
I don't
cute
know.
too.
I definitely think that Frank needs to fall back a whole lot. Like
lot.
sleeping in the bed together. Like I'll never forget the episode when he was washing a car and it said something about, I remember I used to get you like this. Like he does too much. He does way too much. How she's buying him the shirt and he's over. Like it's just, that's not okay.
It is too much because we have hormones. We're human. Like I don't like that at all. That's
right.
a level of disrespect. Yeah.
David's a joke.
Look, I say that they just transfer to the new cast of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and they become a throuple, and this will all work itself out, and Dolores and David and Frank can all be together with each other.
I love the word throuple.
Shade.
So shady. That's amazing.
Look, Andy, you need to cast thruples for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because that's all it is.
And give
over there.
Russell his coin
Yes.
for the
You're welcome.
idea.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I will host the official after show on Bravo.
Okay. I'm tuning in. But we also have to thank our viewers for tuning in too. I think we got a little message for them.
Oh yeah, we got a message because we say thank you. And by the way, when I'm in New York, I actually watch you guys because I enjoy the show because I like
thank
to.
you.
Yeah, Wednesdays is a day where I'm working remotely at my house anyway, so it's like I'm doing so many things. I'm like, oh, I want to watch Jersey Housewives, but I want to get like more. So we thank all our fans that are not only on iTunes, YouTube, et cetera, just for helping out and building this thing. For me, AfterBuzz, like I started, maybe 9 years ago here.
Yeah.
So it's always really cool to see it grow.
He's the OG.
Yeah, it's cool to see it grow. It establishes a lot of hosts to go on and do a lot of fun things. And all that we ask is that you, comment, subscribe, and do
Give
all,
us 5 stars.
Yeah.
do all the cutesy things that,
Like
are
on my
cute.
photos.
Hop in the chat because we have they have their laptops open
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we definitely will answer you, chat with you, all that good stuff.
Get all your questions.
Right. So go ahead and hop on in there like Danielle is hopping on into Marty's life, trying to stay in that house.
I don't know about the tea, but let me get some.
Oh, yeah. Why are we drinking? Yeah, let's do it.
I've been trying to
This is
send
too
y'all
much
like telekinetic vibes or
on.
something.
No, but this is the thing. I don't understand why Margaret is so shocked that Marty
Beverly
could have had sex
Not
with
Beverly.
Danielle.
You were out of line.
She went there.
Well, Beverly grabbed that weave.
Oh man,
Grabby.
no, that's predictions.
Okay, yeah, that's predictions.
Let's save that.
But
But
yeah, I don't really get why. I get why she's so gung ho, but I really feel like her relationship with Marty is only because they share a common denominator at one point, which was Danielle.
With Margaret, here's my thing. It is just a lot of information that you keep talking about with this Danielle. We have to have her let it go. Like I'm getting a little bit on the last nerve of what Margaret thinks about Danielle. Here's the thing: you were her bridesmaid or whatever, or you helped plan her wedding. Like it also reflects bad on you if you keep talking trash about this woman in such a negative way. It was the woman that you were friends with. Like that makes your character look a little bit odd
She
and
just
funny
looks
too.
just like Danielle.
I mean, a
as
little.
low.
And I know people like Margaret. When Margaret became the big it thing, I personally was like, I don't really get it that much. I'm not really seeing it. I've learned to like her a little bit more. And I actually was in New York. I was walking on Hudson. I'd seen her in person. She's got the facelift is really nice, I will say.
Ooh. Come on, facelift.
I was like, that thing looks better in person than on TV. Like, it looks good.
No, on TV and HD, like literally all of them sometimes.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do
I
it.
mean,
Don't do
I
it.
can't
No,
help.
I was hating Aydin. I was saying she looked good on the
Because
TV.
we're trying to book these guests in the future, God. Don't do
I
it.
didn't say who.
I'm sorry.
I didn't say who. I just said some are noticeable on HD TV.
Yeah.
I might have noticeable. I know I will have noticeable things.
I may have had a pop of Botox myself, but we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we were all primping earlier. No, but you know what I mean? Like, it reflects on your character. Like, if you rode for somebody so long or whatever for that duration, and now you just keep shitting on her, like, we gotta chill.
I don't know if she really rode for her that long.
Then why was she her
Casting.
I really think that it had to do with Danielle forcing her to be part of her
Okay, that's fair.
bridesmaids group because she was close with Teresa and she was close with the other girls, and Danielle has no friends. So she was kind of like
Opportunity.
oh, she's kind of a friend. Let's put her in my wedding so it looks good together.
Yeah.
And
But oh wait, so here's another thing. Who brought Margaret in? Was it Ziggy?
No, they didn't even like. They weren't that close.
Who brought Margaret into the show
Margaret
originally?
was Teresa's friend, and that's why it's
I
so.
thought it was Ziggy.
No, Margaret is Teresa's friend, and that's why it's so strange as to why Teresa rides so hard for Danielle.
And she's getting annoyed with Margaret and Teresa are getting annoyed with each other. But I found it interesting how much Margaret was like all up in Marty's business, which it is a little interesting. But it also is like, girl, you pushing this story. But
Can I tell you though, notes wise, I'm just taking notes, and this is with no
Yeah.
disrespect with Danielle, because Hoeing 101 was she was Danielle. We're saying this with love, sweetie, like at its best. I mean,
got it down.
She
no,
had it down.
I want her to write a book. I say that almost every
yeah.
episode because I will read it, Danielle.
Oh, yeah.
But
she did. It's a cookbook.
see, that's not the kind of book I'm talking about.
She was cooking up some putanessa sauce. Okay.
But you gotta read between the lines.
She was serving it too.
But
had it
I
all on
want
a
to
platter.
see. I want to see like is Marty like really thinking that him and Danielle could get back together because he didn't say no. He was like, you never know 5 years from now. And then that's when Margaret's like, dude, you don't see that she's just trying to get the house. And he was just looking kind of like. Ooh.
That very much caught me by surprise because when it comes down to relationships, you're either going to choose your self-worth or you're going to choose the relationship. And I think with the dynamic that they had going on and the way that she tore Marty down in the press, you're really letting your self-worth go and you're putting a toxic person of more importance before yourself. And I don't think that that's the right thing to do. And if Marty at this age choosing Danielle over his own sanity and security is a bad choice. And I don't see that happening.
I do not understand how this man is even like still letting her live there, and it's only because she can't come up with the what is it, 30 million?
2 million.
Oh, 2 million in 30 days. 30
Yeah.
days to come up with 2 million. I mean, I know I couldn't do it, but you know, Danielle and I are different people. We're different.
But something that disgusts me also is the fact that she actually has Oliver as the co-signer to try to get
Right
the
away.
we all
Right,
love
quick.
she's doing that dating situation where you're out with the one in the daytime, but at the night you're like, well, babe, I'm here with you in the bed.
But
like,
this
and where you're having Marty's head like, well, I guess she is here with me in the bed right now. You know, like she's playing these games. You know,
But here's
salute,
the
queen.
thing, though. Like, you can salute it, but when you watch somebody like that and then you say, wow, that's what you're capable of. This is the person that you are engaged to. This is someone you say you're going to dedicate your life to. This is your life partner, and you are literally just using him for a financial opportunity with your ex-fiance, and nobody's really saying, wow, you're capable of doing that to your fiance. You could probably do that to me too.
Time out though, Marty. Okay, now because we want to be sensitive towards him because obviously we don't really like this tacky Danielle play. However, on the Marty side, we got to judge him a little bit because Marty, it ain't like you were jumping in with Danielle, who was like, you know, we've only known her as being, you know, sweet and sophisticated. Like you knew you were getting into a 19 engagement type of woman, you know. So I think there's some parts where we can't feel too sorry for him either. I'm not saying you were.
Sorry for that.
like actually
Everybody is of age, grown as hell. What they do is what they do. But I'm just saying it takes two, and in this case, it takes three, and all of them are fools.
Yeah, they are.
Well, between them and Dolores, That's a lot. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Triple Edition. I can't tell you enough.
You said Danielle out there put Al B. Sure in the mix. I mean, it's going to go down.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
It was a lot going on with them, but it also was a lot going on at that Easter dinner that had all of us in our feelings.
Shambles.
Yeah.
I know, like, literally none of us saw it coming because we're thinking, oh, turn up time. Like, we about to have, like, fun. We got an extra person in studio with us tonight. And no, we were all like, oh my God, this is so sad to watch. So let's start on this end. How you felt about it, Ronnie?
Well, I think, like, what you do are, when I watch these reality shows, sometimes I put it in my own, like, what that would be like if it was my family. Like, I personally am not really the biggest Teresa fan, I will say, just in general.
We're twinsies.
Huge Melissa and Joe fan. I always say they should get the spinoff. But my point is, I don't love Teresa, but the way this was put together, you know, and everything that they kind of showcased with Adriana, it really touched my heartstrings, you know, and it was done very well. And, you know, these are the parts of, you look at the show and you're like, well, you know, come on. There's other people who go through these same type of situations and they don't have the big mansions or whatever. They don't have their mother on television. It's like, come on. Let's make these kids be a little tougher. Like, they're going to be okay. They're going to be all right. Because there's, you know, literally there's people who go through all of this with, like, not a pot to piss in. So there's a part of me that's like, enough is enough with this storyline. But today it just really knocked me on my feet, and really thinking about that little girl, you know, saying, I want, you know, my dad's cooking, and the way they wanted to shield her, or even the decision itself. Do we shield her? Is she of age? That's what really connected to me.
I think more or less it was good to see Joe and his vulnerability for the fact that him and Joe Guiduice were in such an ugly place a few seasons ago. And the fact that he was able to break down and cry and really say that I love you shows that they were able to put their differences aside, swallow their pride, and really take I'm at a loss for words right now, but
like his ego putting aside?
No, like take it's not accountability. Anyways, but like get in your feelings, get all the way in your feelings, and really just connect and realize we're family. All we have is each other.
Yeah.
And it's really, that's his sister. So then Joe then becomes his blood, whether they stay together or not, which we'll talk about later. But you know, those are his nieces and nephews, or nieces, and that's a bloodline.
It did feel like you were seeing the roles shift. You know what I mean? Like, and I think I mentioned it when we were sitting there watching the show. Like, I look at the grandfather, and I'm thinking, well, he's dealing with his own stuff, you know, of losing his wife a couple of years ago. But, like, in this moment, he's so not that person. He has to be, he's struggling with his health, but then he's trying to be strong, but then Joe's trying to be a father figure. It was so much, and I don't think any human being could watch that and not see an identifiability in their own personal life, or how would we handle such a hard topic.
I also like that Joe was able to look within and say, I can love them so much, but I'm still not their dad.
Yeah,
because that's important to know that too.
Yeah.
Melissa had that side note too. She's like, I didn't grow up with the father, so I know what these girls are going through, you know?
Yeah. I think, like you said, watching Joe be so vulnerable, it was really sad for me. And that's what got me emotional, because they had so much opportunity to have a relationship. And now that they literally can't now, that's what touched me. The moment they called each other bro and brother, I'm like, my heart. But what bothered me also was watching Teresa's decision of telling the girls, and I feel like it was irresponsible for her not to tell
Melania and Adriana.
Because social media is so accessible. Information in general is so accessible. So I think it was irresponsible. However, I do agree with the fact that she did not want to send her to ICE to see her father, because that image will be the last image in her mind for a very long time. And that will scar her. And I agree with her decision as a parent not to put her through that.
I don't really know about her decision to not tell them about it, because of course they will see it on social. I think they'll see it on social media. Teresa's like, oh, they don't get on social media like that. First of all, they go to school, right? Like, there's other kids who know, you're on a TV show, my mom watches you, she says your daddy is going away. Like, those type of situations are going to happen. But I also don't really know how to sit a kid down and tell them. I guess you just have to, like, break it down in simple terms and let them know. But I thought tonight we also got a chance to really see Joe be vulnerable, because we've heard his conversations in the past, but today just was like, wow. And then like we saw the flashback when he was like fussing at Teresa saying, well, why didn't you just call a lawyer? And she's like, why didn't you do this a long time ago?
I don't
Even
like that.
Nonos has said for so long he had the chance to get his citizenship and he hasn't done that. And then today, I mean, we've always seen how that decision that he made, it has broken a family up. But tonight it was like next level.
And it was good to hear them all laugh together. For Joe to be in an ICE facility and to make a comment with his nephew and really connect with his nephew through the phone.
When he was like, no, I got shorter.
That was the cutest moment. And the fact that they were able just to all be present was a very touching
It reminds you, like I said, and not to make it personal, but it reminds you of like how your families are, like you got these big old families and everyone, we people make some mistakes, but like at the end of the day, boy, we come together. So like so many of the other times you judge each other, but in that Easter moment, it was like we riding real hard for each other, and it was extremely cute.
Yeah, I loved it. I also love special segments too, though.
Come on, Slick. You know what I like? I like a little bit more of that drink over there.
You can do that.
Let me just tell you.
Oh, let me help you out. Okay, come on, special segments.
All right, special segments. We got tweets.
Come on, Twitter. Oh, thank you.
Okay, so basically the tweets, there was a lot of emotional stuff, but there are a lot of people also who had some things to say about Jennifer, because we didn't really get into the situation with her daughter and the bullying. So one tweeter here said... if I was Jennifer, I'd be at my kid's school every damn day until those girls left my child alone.
Thank you.
And if that didn't work, best believe I'm pulling up on the parents.
Thank you.
That's a fact.
Thank
No,
you.
because seriously, Jennifer said, oh, baby, just don't worry about that. And that was pretty much it. Like, that was literally it. Like, what do you mean don't worry about it? The girl threw a ball at your child's head.
Look, if we had enough time, I would share a story that my mom did, but we're not going to get into that.
Same. I have one too. And people still bring it up until this day.
For next week.
I will.
We're going to hold it for next
you.
week. Just don't forget it.
His name was Jeremy.
But where's he at now?
Another tweeter says, that whole scene at the table when Joe called broke my heart.
Yeah.
It's from Kat.
Yes.
That's how all us were.
Everybody.
We were all in tears. It was
None of
really
us were
touching
too cool
moment.
for the room. We were feeling it.
Yeah.
We got another tweet saying that Frank's jealousy is really jumping off the screen in the most passive-aggressive ways possible. It's
hilarious.
Does he want that old thing back? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I really don't think Dolores is an old dog with old tricks. I really think that she's spunky and she's constantly progressing. I mean, minus her relationship status. But, like, if I was Frank, I would want her back, too.
Oh, yeah.
She came up, she
Dolores
started the show with
Dolores
only
is it, yeah.
$400 in her pocket, and now she's making $500,000 per season. Like, I would want that back, too, because Frank isn't bringing in as many royalties as she is.
Yeah. Oh.
Someone else says,
Say
does Margaret have the hots for Marty or something that makes her defend him so passionately against Danielle? Because homegirl has an axe to grind. And then they said they want Andy to ask her.
Ask her, Andy.
I don't
Ask
think
her,
she
Andy.
wants Marty. I think she just loves hating Danielle and she likes having somebody to agree with
that's
her.
true.
Same.
She's an alliance with the enemy.
That's why she's so hurt that they actually did have sex, because now she looks stupid.
I'm sticking to my throuple theory. That's another throuple right there.
That's what you get for putting all your trust in a penis. Men don't. I'm sorry, but men don't really think with this head.
And that is
I
how
was gonna
Danielle.
say that's a whole nother
I
topic.
do.
Sorry.
What do you really
That's
say?
not
lot
for
of
next
love.
week.
Not a lot of love.
That's how Danielle is living a life, because
Right.
these men ain't too smart.
So those were the tweets, guys.
Yeah. Well, that's not the only special segment we have, because we also have a Russell with the news and
Come on.
gossip. Oh, we got some
Hey.
good stuff.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this was the week, wasn't it?
So, as of yesterday, it has been officially announced that Teresa and Joe have parted ways, but they're not. A source spoke with People, and they are not planning on divorce. This source says that it's not on the table right now, and they're letting each other live their best lives, as well as raising and focusing on raising their 4 daughters. Neither one of them is interested in a long-distance relationship, and Joe has also been out on several dates.
Already.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Already? He
Well,
just
you
went
have
to Italy.
You guys have to realize that this was just announced. It doesn't mean that it already wasn't in the process.
Who was he talking to, like, in the detention center? Like,
You never know. There's Love After Lockup. There's also an after show for that one.
Pinch House. I do that show, guys. Tune in. We're back in January. Go ahead.
The girls are also set to visit Joe in Italy for Christmas and the holidays, and continue celebrating with Teresa in the new year. Although you guys, I want you guys to remember that even though there's no planned divorce, you have to remember that Teresa has been spotted out several times with Lauren LaForge, who I reached out to see if she was advising Teresa in any way. I've still yet to hear back from her. So we'll see what happens there and if she's going to be the one representing Teresa if a divorce is decided. And in other news, Ashley Holmes recently was on a podcast, Jacqueline Larita's daughter, mentioning that back in season 2, Danielle actually pulled out her own hair. She did not pull out her hair because she said if she would have pulled out her hair, she would have bragged about it and she probably would have made a bow or something. And that most of the charges that Danielle brought against her were actually dropped and she was only forced to pay a $180 fine.
Oh, that's nice.
All right,
that's affordable.
She just mad because her extensions were expensive.
Very
They were
affordable.
beaded, so I also do believe that she might have had something to do with it because beads are hard to pull out. Anybody knows anything about
Yeah,
extensions?
that hurts.
Beads are in there.
That hurts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's all the news I have for today.
Well, thank you for that news and thank you for those tweets. Now it's time for predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
And I'm gonna go ahead and start this one off because I'm just excited after I saw this this trailer or this teaser for next week, and in this little water pour out that happens on Danielle's head, and then it is followed by some hair pulling. We just talked about some hair pulling, so I'm looking forward to that. I think it's gonna be a little more. That's my prediction, that it doesn't end with the hair pulling.
I think Danielle.
Not Beverly.
Deliberately.
Shade. Okay.
Excuse me. I think
Taste that,
Danielle
taste
and
that.
Marty are going to have a public moment. Don't know, but I don't know what's going to happen. They might go on a date on the show. They might kiss. I don't know. I feel like it's going to lead to something.
I think Oliver's gonna snatch Danielle's weave like how she snatched Margaret's weave. Oliver's gonna come with the big guns and he's gonna pull he's not really gonna do that, but he's gonna pull the carpet from under her feet and he's gonna drop the cosign and Danielle's gonna be SOL and she's not gonna have anything.
Now she just gotta keep doing what she doing with Marty.
Okay, so am I crazy because I felt, or am I just underdogging it? Like, I'm kind of like in my mind hoping that we ever get some type of good. Obviously, we know how it ends, but I'm saying I'm wondering and hoping if next episode is very Danielle-centric in a very positive way. Is that just like never gonna happen?
It's never gonna happen because Danielle's a very negative, ugly, disgusting, nasty, raunchy dog person.
All right.
Oh, okay. Well,
And her house smells like dog, quoting Teresa back season 2.
oh boy, I just watched the reunion season 2 again, like going back, and I watched both episodes in a row. Mm-hmm. I was having jitters. It was a hard freaking reunion to rewatch. Yeah,
So what's your prediction?
My prediction? That was it.
He wants to be a good person.
I was hoping Danielle would have somewhat of a redemption.
Oh, I thought that was
No, I don't
were
think.
joking.
I don't. Right, because I don't think we'll see that.
No,
Well, I'm surprised that she wasn't mad at Teresa.
Nobody likes Danielle. That's
She
so
said
crazy.
she was, but it just was in a friendly way. Like, yeah, girl, I was
Yeah, I'll
mad.
slap you later. Still your man. Don't worry.
Right. Well, that's all we have tonight. But before we get out of there, don't forget to hit us up on social media because we love chatting with you guys. You can find me online, Instagram at Angel Saunders, AngelSaunders.
You can find me on Instagram at IamB_Cheyenne and catch me on Love After Lockup After Show when we come back in January.
Yes, and I'm Russell Ray. You can find me all across the internet at Russell Ray Silva.
On his OnlyFans account.
No, you didn't.
We're
I
kidding.
do not have one of those. He's a liar.
We're kidding, sweetie pie. No, randomly RJ, and gosh damn, this was a fun night.
Call me Beverly. Damn.
I'm going to go pray.
I'm going to finish my drink and we'll see y'all back. Not next week because it's Christmas week, right?
Oh, yeah. Following.
Just
2 weeks.
Yeah, just
Been
hit us
2
up
weeks.
online and we'll keep y'all updated.
Yes.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.